right, everyone. So I'm going to do my best to consolidate these teachings because I've got a lot to share with you today. So the theme right now we're going to be playing with is it's not enough to just receive a psychic signal. It's all about how can you take action on these messages that come and why so many people don't. And so I'm sure all of you have had really simple intuitive hits. It could be, I should have turned left. Oh, someone's going to call me, like these really simple ones. But have you ever had an intuitive psychic message that would potentially, destroy the direction of your life as you know it? These can be messages where you need to leave a country. You know that you need to transition from your marriage. You know that there's something really big that's being asked of you, and a lot of the time you're not given the ABCD steps on how to get there. And so this is what this message is about. And it's about, in this work that I'm doing with the psychic soma practice, is how do we actually prepare our bodies to take actions that are out of character? Because what's happening, and the theme we're going to be playing with, is this winding path up forward. So in the work that I do, it's very clear that even though my intention is to support people in moving forward, I'm very aware that in order to move forward, it's not as clear as a straight shot. There's gathering parts of yourselves. There's having to follow these psychic signposts along the way that are helping you redirect and align yourself when you've maybe been out of alignment for a long time. And that in order to realign yourself into a path that is most liberating and nourishing and consensual, also with your nervous system, you need to be able to take micro steps along the way of following tiny little guidances that are easily to digest, that if you fail, it's not going to destroy you're not going to pivot your life in such a big way. So you start getting comfortable with that. I'm going to share a story of when I was young. And so when I was young, I was traveling. This is about this winding path of life. And when we're getting given messages that seem very counterintuitive, this happens a lot in my work. And I think it's really important to realize that sometimes the counterintuitive feeling of messages that are coming your way is actually a way of showing you how out of alignment you may be. Because if you're in alignment, those suggestions and those psychic feedback from life wouldn't feel so extreme. There would be a lot more like, oh, of course. So when I was younger, I think I was maybe 18, I was a traveler, but traveled by foot and by hitchhiking and by all means necessary without money. And I remember finding myself, I was trying to get to a rainbow gathering, and I was in San Francisco, California, trying to hitchhike out of San Francisco, which is a freaking nightmare. And I remember I'm trying to get to Arkansas also, just to give you for anyone that doesn't know the States, it's a pretty far, it's like going across a bunch of the country. So here I am, at the intersection, I'm getting in the interstate, I'm getting picked up really micro drives, and it's brutal, right? I'm like, how the hell am I gonna go to Arkansas if I can't even get out of San Francisco? And so I remember finally just feeling really defeated, just going to this parking lot, sitting down and doing something which I call is a recentering practice. So if you're feeling, and I'll just pivot with a little bit of teachings while I share this story, but if you're feeling like you're on a freaking hamster wheel, not going anywhere, and you become aware of it, doing some practices where you actually stop your body. Sometimes it can be even so in this case, I literally put myself in a little fetus position. So you kind of go back to that that beginning state. So finding somatic body postures that help you enter into a place where you have not been dogmatically programmed by life, So the fetal position is really good for that. So I just kind of went into this fetal position and allowed myself to just deeply listen, to kind of throw away all of my idea on how I was going to get to Arkansas and just deeply listen. And the message was really clear. And a lot of the time, this is where I get my clearest guidance, is when I just take a pause and also just be like, all right, y'all, I work with, I call them spirit mentors. You can work with creator or God or goddess, the divine or life force. It doesn't, or, nuclear biology. I don't care. So I called upon my guides and like, I need the next step. I need some breadcrumb that's going to help me move out of this feeling of being defeated. And so the message I had got was, you were given a phone number and an address. And so I had all these different addresses people had suggested to me of places or people to check out. And so I'd go find this house, and I want you to go to this address. And that was the only breadcrumb I had. And so it was kind of close. It was in Berkeley. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to go to this random house. I don't know the people in it. I have absolutely, the only thing I know is that I have this address. But that was the only breadcrumb I had. And so at that point, I was very receptive. And I think this is part of it when you're getting these breadcrumbs, is how do you allow your body to feel receptive and trusting of these next steps? And so it was really challenging though, because I had to go back I'd been working all day long to get where I am. And I actually had to physically like retrace all my steps. And this is this winding path of life, right? Is sometimes it feels like we are retracing all our steps and we're getting nowhere. But it's like we've just created a whole new micro alignment from maybe what appears to be where we have been. And that could be examples of like when you're in patterns that keep creating themselves, knowing like, but maybe there's just a micro shift that you've done. And even if it keeps happening, you're slowly shifting out of that pattern. So I arrive at this house, and there's somebody, I remember they were pruning roses, this older man, and I just arrived there with my knapsack and like, hi, I've been told that this is a place I need to go to. And they're like, oh great, come on in. Like really casual about it. So they brought me in and gave me some tea, and I began telling them, I'm like, well, I'm trying to get to Arkansas. And they're like, oh, perfect. We have a whole group of people that are arriving from Hawaii, picking them up from the airport tonight, and they're driving to Arkansas. So in a big bus or a van, they'll have space for you, and you can just go with them. Right? And so sure enough, like they all arrived from Hawaii, and it actually turned out that even one of those people was somebody that I would end up living with years later in totally different circumstances in Hawaii. And they were literally arriving from the community and the place that my child was born that I had yet to meet. So there's all these timelines kind of coming together. And so sure enough, yeah, we met this great group of people, and they swooped me up into their caravan and drove me to Arkansas. So why I'm sharing that is, sometimes it's like, it can feel like we are treading water and getting nowhere, or we're in the doldrums of life. And that's why I feel it's really important to start accessing and calling in psychic support, whether that is developing it in yourself in your own capacity, or seeking somebody that can help you with their external lens. Because these little pieces, sometimes it's as simple as like just getting that right little nugget, that right form of guidance that starts churning your wheels and helps you create a new pathway. Even I think of it like neural pathways, right? So sometimes the reason why we feel like we're not moving anywhere or we're getting stuck is because there needs to be a new pathway created within us. And in order to create these new pathways, sometimes it's as simple as like doing something out of character, following this guidance that feels really counterintuitive, making space when you feel like you should be filling it with things, figuring out like, what does it feel like? And that's where we get back into the body, is when you're receiving a psychic message, it's really important to slow down and listen to how it feels in your body. Your body is the one that's going to be helping you navigate and be the barometer of truth, because the body is feeling the vibrations without intellectually processing. So your body can tell if there's a vibration that is opening or stagnating or sealing, or there's a bunch of things. And so when you're hearing a message, this is the simplest way of saying, if you have this like impulse to do something, when that impulse comes, you can, instead of acting, sometimes people are like all about like, I'm going to act right away. I have done that, and that can get you so far too. It also can be very ungrounding, and the more that you act instantly and spontaneously, the less chance that your body gets to actually syncopate with the information. And your body is the guardian of where you're at now, currently in this timeline. Your body knows what your financial resources might be. Your body knows what your emotional landscape is like. Your body's the one that is able to understand if you are in a place where you can take actions or not. So your body's going to be the one that either sabotages in some ways the step forward, or it's the one that allows you to move forward and take these actions. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. But the piece that I would suggest is, if you have some kind of psychic information that's come to you regarding a specific decision, and it's haunting you in some way, you know that you need to take action, but it feels really and it can feel threatening, right? Like sometimes these decisions that are bigger can actually somatically, physically create a sensation of threat if your body doesn't feel that it's safe to move through in that kind of changing way. So I would slow down with your body and be like, okay, body, what do you need to know to feel safer? What do I need to do in my life? What are the steps that are needed to help you be able to allow me to take this next step in a way that we're all doing it together, that your spirit and your body are syncing up together to make these big decisions, because they will affect your life. It will, like, your friendships may change, your life, your home, where you live may change, your relationships may change, your sense of self may change. Like, a lot of things can change when we start to follow and listen to these micro psychic adjustments. That is life helping us move forward. So I'm going to leave you all with that. And if anyone wants to pop on today, actually I have 3 spots I need to fill if I'm going to run my Community Crossroads. I do it once a month for the next couple months. So if you wanted to jump on, shoot me a message or sign up in my links in the bio. That's in it's 10 o'clock, 12, in like 4 hours and 2 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right, looking forward to how you guys integrate these teachings. Ciao.